Welcome to Mobilize. Today we're going to be talking about neck and the surrounding tissue and the actions it can do and some ideas to help alleviate some movement stiffness or just a general sense of a lack of range of motion. I don't know if you've ever thought, I'm going to look up at things around me and just realize that, I'm actually restricted in where and how I need to turn. Some people, they have to really turn their whole neck and back as a unit, whereas we want that full spectrum ability to look in any direction that you reasonably can do. So one of the key things to look at from the perspective of your neck is that it's not actually comprised of a single joint per se, but it has these segments, and each of those segments is its own little joint capable of relative motion to its neighbor. Now what happens with a lot of people is that because they don't use it very often, or they're stuck in kind of that forward-looking position, TV, driving, computers, etc., your brain just starts going, well, you don't need so much relative movement, so I'm going to treat all of these segments as one bone. And that's when you start getting a neck which is very difficult to move and move around in different directions specifically. And that's when you have to turn much more as a blocked unit. So some of the key muscles that come into it, you've got things like levator scapulae, traps, which blends in and around this tissue here. You've got your sternocleidomastoid, which is this big, thick piece of tissue coming through your neck, where I'm looking at here. And you've also got the jaw muscles and the connection of your neck into the mouth. So while keeping this quite simple, what we also want to do is look at the major things that you're going to want to do with your neck and see how we can use a combination of some release work, some stretching and strengthening to provide the best input for some of the work that we're going to do. And it also will give you, for your neck, for example, a really nice chance to take your tissue into different positions that you might not do in your work day or everyday life. So let's, for example, look at neck side flexion. So what we're going to do here is, with a relaxed shoulder position, just gently going to tilt your head towards the right-hand side. And you're going to assess, is that tissue line on the side here which you're tilting away from, does that feel really tight? Does that feel really difficult to connect to? Do you not even have much motion there at all? So one of the things that could be from that perspective, if you look at the structure of the neck here, is if you're having a hard time moving in this direction, is it because the tissue that sits on top here, your traps, levator scapulae, are they very, very neurologically tight? And what we mean by neurologically tight is that it holds tension that's unnecessary. There's nothing actually there causing it to remain tight, other than that's what your brain thinks that you want. Holding positions like this all day, that starts to become your default posture. So can we change that? So let's look at a simple way of providing some release for your traps. And what you're going to do here is get the ball, and then with the tissue of the shoulder, right on the top of it, that trap tissue, just going to stop the box from moving and just gently lean your weight into it. And just from here, we're going to relax. We're going to do some deep nasal breathing in and out to remain in this parasympathetic or relaxed state. We're going to really find some spots there that the pain is just one of more discomfort, but it's a nagging sort of thing. And just seeing it, applying that ball to it, you can even do it with just your hand in this sort of position if that's a bit fiddly. You can just press down here. And then the idea is, having just created a little bit of that sensation of release, just the relaxation that comes from that, can you now acquire a little bit more side flexion of your neck? And then it stands to reason that if you're in that position, a nice stretch might literally be just to grab the top of your hand, place it on the side and top of your head like so, and then just gently provide a nice stretching sensation. So here I'm trying to keep my shoulder rooted down so it's not hiking up with me. I'm demonstrating that here. And then from there, just applying a gentle, consistent tension. And for neck, I like to do something around 10-20 seconds. You don't want to be hanging out here too long. And then just be cautious when you do come out of it. Just help head back up to position, shake off the tissue around it, and then see, having done the stretch and the release, feels a little bit easier. I've got a better sense of and that better awareness of that movement. And then finally, to create some strength in that position, you've got into that lovely stretch shape. I'm now going to apply what's called a PNF stretching structure here. And to do that, I'm holding the stretch, and now I'm going to push my head into my hand into my head. There's no movement. It's called an isometric tension. I'm going to hold that for 5 to 10 seconds. Take a deep breath in, and then see, as I release that breath and relax, am I able to stretch just a little bit further into the stretch? And then from there, what I could do is take my hand away and just hold a little bit of my own neck tension in this position for say 5 to 10 seconds. Carefully come out, and then start to use your neck on a more daily basis to explore ranges and gradually see how, as you provide that stretching and strengthening sensation, it starts to feed back into more movement possibilities for your neck. Until next time, see ya.